Welcome to the Circle of Grace 1. I'm your host, Chief Principal Teacher and Founder, Bishop Francis Revels-Bey. Today is Sunday, April the 1st, 2012, and this is the monthly broadcast. We're pre-recording it and uploading it to our different channels, especially to our YouTube channel, Circle of Grace 1. The Circle of Grace 1 was founded on July 2nd, 1999 AD, under the aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through Divine Providence. It also gave birth to its very own spiritual and metaphysical institute called the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance on February the 7th, 2009. And of course, I'm the host, Chief Principal Teacher and Founder for both, Bishop Francis Revels-Bey. Well, we're broadcasting live right here from Albuquerque, New Mexico in our studio. And this is an opportunity to share all of this wonderful information to you. And I would like to just welcome everybody that can watch it either in live format or in its pre-recorded format. So welcome and greetings of divine grace and remembrance to all. And before we get started, I'd like to open up with a basic prayer through divine power and by divine grace. May all who are watching this program today or at any time in the very near future be blessed to become a blessing for others in their own lives. May you share and shine forth with your full remembrance and awareness of your own divinity. And may you recognize your wellness and wholeness under divine grace. I decree that this shall be for you, your loved ones, your community of kindred souls, and so it is. Amen. Well, thanks for tuning in. As you can see, this is the Circle of Grace 1 here. We're using this particular other channel in which to present today's as well as this month's program for the Circle of Grace 1, which is a spiritual and metaphysical ministry. Now, you can link to it by going to YouTube, and when you go to www.youtube.com, you could type into the search box Circle of Grace with the number 1 added at the end, the Roman numeral number 1, and it'll take you right to the page. Now, if not, you can always type out in your browser http:// Circle of Grace 1. That's capital C, lowercase IRCLEOF, capital GRACE. Now, you're writing it all as like one word, and put the figure for the number 1 right after the letter E in the word grace. So after you spell capital CIRLE lowercase OF capital GRACE, then put the figure for the number 1 there, and it'll take you right to my channel page. And you'll see various other favorite videos I've selected to be added there. You'll see some of my subscribers and some of the videos. You're welcome to go into the subscribers and see what they have to offer. And you'll see a lot of good other material there. And you'll see all of the videos, recordings that I have uploaded since 2010 right there, and especially using that particular avenue to bring forth the teachings. In the very near future, I'm going to bring forth some highlights of my 10-week Tarot Basics course that I'm going to be teaching soon out here in Albuquerque this week. In fact, this weekend, April the 7th, Saturday, April the 7th, all the way up to June 9th, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., I will be at 3420 Lomas Boulevard Northeast in Albuquerque, and that zip code area there is 87106. So if you need to put it in, you can see its exact location, 3420 Lomas Boulevard Northeast, at the corner of Amherst. And the store metaphysical shop is called White Horse. And you can always call the owner, shop owner Jennifer, at 505-255-5217 and find out more about how you can register for this 10-week course. and we're not turning anybody down. Each class is $20, and it starts at 3 p.m. all the way to 5 p.m. this Saturday for 10 consecutive Saturdays, starting this Saturday, April the 7th, right there at Whitehorse. And right across the street is Walgreens there, and you'll see the Patan Park. And we're just west of Carlisle Boulevard Northeast. So Lomas Boulevard runs east and west, and Carlisle runs north and south. And very easy to get to. All right, about 5 minutes up the road, 5 minutes west of the University of New Mexico Hospital and the central campus for the University of New Mexico. So there are the logistics on how to get there to this particular 10-week course that I'm teaching at Whitehorse. Now, also, you could follow me at Twitter. You can go to twitter.com/ this is the link, http://www.twitter.com/ then just type in capital CIROF, capital GRACE, the figure for the number 1, and then capital INST. And if you do that, you'll be able to come to my particular Twitter profile. And you can follow me on Twitter, listen to, or I would say not listen, but view some of the various spiritual gems. There's over 1,500 tweets there. Some of it has been advertising, but the bulk of the information, 3/4 of that information, are links right to my various channel sites. So you can view my videos for the Circle of Grace 1 and Decree and It Shall Be. And also find some great spiritual enlightening gems that you can meditate upon. You can also follow some of my blogging at wordpress.com. If you go to WordPress, WORDPRESS.com, and go to its search box and type in Circle of Grace 1, you can come to my blogging page. I'm there writing as Bishop Francis Two Bears. Okay, and so you could easily read the spiritual blogs and poetry, spiritual essays that I have. Also, if you want, you can follow me and like me, or I should say like the Circle of Grace 1 at Facebook, and just go to www.facebook.com/ Circle of Grace with the number 1 at the end, and the page comes up. Click it, like it, and follow it. You can join it and subscribe to it to follow any updates that I have going on here in the local Albuquerque area. Now, we want to get started with today's program, and one of the things I want to put forward for you is that if you ever need to contact me about the Circle of Grace 1 being broadcasted here through various channels online, or if you want to find out about teleseminars that could be coming up hopefully next month, if we don't have enough time to do one this month. You might want to find out also about other e-newsletters like I have called Two Bears, which is prepaid, comes out every month at the first of the month. You want to find out about the Circle Grace 1 hyphen the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance. I know it's a long title, but that's another brand new e-newsletter already ready to go. There are 3 issues a year, and the first one is out already from March through June. You can find out how to subscribe to it by simply going to http://circleofgrace1.net and click on the sidebar for home services, and when that next page comes up, just scroll down on the left hand side and you'll see the information, the new information, how to get and secure your e-newsletter and get it in your inbox for either Two Bears, or which is a monthly subscription, or a 3-issue per year subscription for the Circle of Grace 1. And these are prepaid, so you pay for them in advance for the particular issue that you want. All right, you can always email me, and I have to give this information out, bear with me. You can email me at iam.circleofgrace1@yahoo.com. Also, you could use Bishop Francis, written as one word, at circleofgrace1.net. And you can also email me at iam.circlegrace1@gmail.com. Now, I'm giving you the gmail.com just in case. Sometimes remember Yahoo or Gmail. So you can uncheck these periodically about 2 to 3 times a day for updates, information, not only for myself at email, but also from colleagues as well. I have a Skype internet number, 973-685-5978. The Circle of Grace 1 has its mobile number, which is 908-878-2978. And there's a special spiritual prayer, meditational decree request line that runs 24/7. You can listen to a multi-purpose decree by simply calling 505-717-4722. That's 505-717-4722, which starts to spell the word grace, Grace. So, with all of that information out, let's begin with today's program, which comes in 3 segments for this month. The Circle of Grace 1, as a spiritual and metaphysical ministry, has 3 segments when it's broadcasting online. The first segment goes into the key to life is numerology, which talks about the astrological significance of the signs connected to the universal year vibration that we're in. This is 2012, and in numerology, that's a 32/5. So I'm going to give you a little insight on that and the astrological signs that are connected, and also cardinal as well as fixed signs, what they need to do at this specific time right now for the month of April. And as well as the power of numbers, which goes into the 12 gems, which are the solar signs, and the brief information for all 12 solar signs, starting with Aries and ending with Pisces. Then the second segment is the Grace Key of Remembrance, and it's a special spiritual message for the month of April that you can also apply at any time during the year, but specifically for this month. And that's followed up by one of my original Creative Pathwork meditations. And that, whatever the Creative Pathwork meditation that's being utilized, is connected. It helps anchor the teaching of the Grace Keys of Remembrance for the Pacific month. So I want to get started. And today's program might be 45 minutes long altogether with all of this introductory information, or it could be an hour. So, we're going to get all of the information in, and then we're going to put it up so that you can see it, immediately. We're not broadcasting it live because we want to make sure we have a lot of continuity and no interruptions. Sometimes in the past we've had a few technical electronic problems and internet problems. Sometimes you didn't see the image, sometimes you didn't get the whole show, you didn't get the volume, the audio. So to cut all of that out, you can simply go to the Circle of Grace 1's channel on YouTube and get the pre-recorded version that I'm doing for you right now, and you're still getting the information, and you can play back as many times as you want. All right, so what we want to do is let you know for sure here that the universal year 2012 is a 32/5. That means I split the year 2012 and added the 20 to the 12. Now what you have to know here in this millennium of the 2000, from 2000 all the way up to 2999, that root compound number there, 20, is a number of generation, regeneration, renewal, and transformation. There is a revealing of the spirit within every man, woman, and child of the universe. And so here at Mother Earth, in our school and university here at Mother Earth, we are having a greater collective wisdom that is going on, and we are figuring out who we are in this I'm going to call divine matrix. But we're being matriculated by the Spirit. Just like when you go to college or university, you matriculate your credits. In other words, you got to show up at the class. You've got to study outside of the class. You might have a tutorial one-on-one with a professor of a particular class or course that you're taking. In any event, the longer you stay in the program, the more matriculation happens and the more educational maturity that takes place for yourself. So you're busy learning, and you're learning something all the time. Even if you're going to hear me say here, is that I should say it now. The teacher learns just as much from the student as the student learns from the teacher. Every teacher was first a student, and every student becomes a teacher, not when they get to the end, but while they're in the midst of their studies, they can become the teacher. And when the teacher and the student come together and receive enlightenment together from the exchange of spiritual wisdom and understanding and knowledge that is transferred back and forth between the two, then this is the essence, the true spiritual work that is going on. There is a teaching that comes to the surface from the heart of the teacher, the heart of the student, and the heart of the energy that is being displayed and utilized and exchanged between the two of them. So it's always a rewarding experience to be a teacher. There's a rewarding experience to be the student, and there's a rewarding experience when they come together as one and they begin to discover more information unto themselves that they can utilize at every point of their life. So we're going to see here that 2012 is a 32, which is a 5. And this is a highly potent, powerful, and important time right now as we are moving forward swiftly and receiving lots of energy changes that are impacting us. Now, there are the solar flares. If you do the research on the internet, you find out the solar flares that were happening and that were being emitted toward us, not just us, but all over the galaxy. The solar flares from the sun being emitted, sending energy and impacting energy all around it, and wherever our constellations were flowing through it, and our galaxy flowing in and around our particular sun, receiving and being impacted by this energy flaring out. Now, some people would say problems on the internet, satellite communication, radio wave communication problems, airplanes flying over the north and south poles, having issues with earthquakes and things like that, and other tremors and things happening, the weather's changing back and forth, flares interrupting, but flares blessing us with higher and higher vibrational frequencies. And so the interesting thing here is that these flares came through right around March the 6th all the way up to March the 9th of 2012. And not only were the radioactive electromagnetic energy waves from the satellites and antennas and everything else, but ourselves as well, our auric field being bombarded and also through the atmosphere to us in very subtle ways. So there is this frequent opportunity of light traveling to us at the same time and moving about at the same time. So these flares were, you can see in essence, helping us to break down third dimensional consciousness, third dimensional awareness, outdated thoughts and principles that are at the foundation, like the roots, and being uprooted, being cultivated, and now there's new higher energy coming in, and we're able to connect with it, and it may be affecting us in different ways. Maybe those of us who slept well no longer sleep well. Those of us either gaining weight rapidly or losing weight. I'm going to say gaining weight gradually or losing weight, dropping weight gradually. Acceleration in our sleep patterns, that changing. Find yourself up almost 20 some hours a day and sleeping like for 4 hours a day. But what happens is we get past the man-made calendar system and we find ourselves functioning on a cosmic system, on a divine system, a galactic system. So we find ourselves not being so much consumed in the man-made time, like what time of day it is. You can see what time of day it is. We're only using that to mark time so that we can try to have more order in our lives or feel like we're in control. But in reality, nature has its 4 seasons. Nature has its seasonal changes to mark time. And we try to bring it all together through our research of other civilizations and cultures. We try to bring it together through our own man-made ideas. But what the true recognition is that we are learning to be more in tune with the cosmic, universal, divine flow and not the earthly man-made flow. We learn to embody the truths of divinity and not the man-made falsehoods of divinity. So we're looking to move into a greater understanding. We're moving fully thrown out by our own choice, not just you, but our own choice, thrown out of the 3rd dimensional consciousness, falling in tune with the 4th dimensional consciousness, which is living thoroughly from your heart, living openly from your heart. And when you live from your heart, you're going to experience emotional changes. You're going to experience mental changes. You're going to experience spiritual and physical changes going on within you, within the world of your own consciousness. Within the weather of your own mind, you're going to have changes. So these things you're going to definitely experience, and you're going to find yourself graduating, evolving into the 5th dimensional consciousness, which is now you embody the truth. Not just speak it, but you embody the truth. Not just speak it in manifestation through your voice, but feel it in your body birth itself, which is the materialization, becomes tangible. So this is something that we want to be fully aware of as we move through all of these energy shifts. They talk about the great paradigm shift. Well, it's ourselves. We're shifting. Everything else in the universe understands a shift, right down to an insect. An insect understands a shift. It moves accordingly. It feels the wind, the currents of the wind. It feels the electromagnetism on its wings, on its body, the hairs, the fibers on its legs, its limbs. Animals feel. So every creature feels these things. And as every creature feels these things, we have to get back in our awareness and our remembrance to begin to remember that we are a part of a greater evolution and a greater revolution and a greater rotation going on, and which means a greater cycle. We're not just this minute thing where we're thinking we're the only ones being affected. No, everything is being affected. Everything. It's just that we have to learn how to go back, like our ancestors, they have original ancestors, and live in tune with everything that's going on. That's why sometimes it is great and it's important to be with your immediate family members, but it's also much better to be with your spiritual family members, your soul family, your soul group, to connect, because that's where the true learning is taking place. And often within your immediate family, many of us have become the teachers for a long time. And if you find some difficulties there where you're thrust out of there, that means you've learned as much as you've learned and you've imparted as much as you were to impart, and then it's time for you to move on, or time for you to graduate. And so there are a lot of graduations, not just at the high school level, the grade school level, the college level, the associate college, the college and university level. There's a graduation going on all the time. Also, as you're opening up this fifth dimensional heart energy, you're also expanding it so that you're living clearly with clarity. This is important. We got to live with clarity through the seat of the soul, which is our heart chakras. Herein, the heart chakra dwells the spirit of divine intelligence, the spirit of compassion, divine grace, awareness, and remembrance. There's the spirit of wellness and wholeness that's here too, of great celebration, of joy, harmonic peace, beauty, and understanding. That all dwells right there at the heart center. Now, this is where the solar flares come into play, heating up and opening up and dissolving the walls so that the true self, the nucleus part of you, can be seen, can be clearly seen. This is what we call being transparent. The light, there's so much light and energy flowing through you and through where you are, is that what you find is that you cannot really stay in an old way of thinking. You always have to move forward. You can't stay in an old way of thinking. You've got to constantly move forward. If you're not moving forward, then you're becoming stagnated, and things are backing up on you. Now, this is the understanding during this springtime of 2012, this 32.5 vibration. This is also, you have to realize, an unfolding and an uplifting. It's an a moment of unfolding and uplifting that's going on. So you are consciously being moved forward at all times, and so that you're not lingering, or as they would say in a biblical sense, not tarrying too long. You don't want to tarry. You want to be moved forward. You want to create in your mind and in your spirit the intention of always being in motion, always moving forward. Even when you are seated in the still point of your own heart and mind, when you're seated in the still point of your own heart and mind, you are dwelling through different levels of meditation, which is the act of finding your center of beingness, of becoming the being, be in the presence of God energy in yourself. That's what you're doing all the time. So it doesn't matter what spiritual book you're reading, doesn't matter what spiritual regimen that you're taking on. What's highly important is that you are growing in the process. You're growing in the process all the time, and you're not being limited by what you see, by what you do, and by what you have. You're not being limited by what other people are giving you as well. So you're exchanging energy through words, you're exchanging energy through emotions and feelings and actions and thoughts. And even by what you choose not to do, there's still an exchange, because those intentions of what you're planning not to do, that's also being seen and felt on a completely different level as well. And so we want to recognize that the heaven on earth vibration, which is the fifth dimensional and beyond, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensional consciousness that is coming to us all the time. This is the heaven on earth. This is the materialization of the manifestation. This is where you can embody the truths, but you don't have to hold on to them. They have to flow through you, because you've become a conduit. You're a portal. You're a gateway. You're a vortex of energy. You're not just building a vortex. The vortex is already there. The energies are there. The pillars of light are there. The columns, the streams, the ribbons, the oceans of light are already there. The pools of light. You just got to move through them. You got to feel them. You got to at least taste some of it in order to understand a lot of it. You have to participate in the energy in order to really get it. You have to at least be there once or twice, sometimes maybe 3 times before it sinks in. But you have to begin to allow it to work For you, that's how you're going to graduate all the time and see yourself prosper abundantly by seeing yourself move through the light. This is what the principles in action of Tai Chi and yoga do and Qigong do. Internal martial arts and external martial arts. Meditation. It causes you to see yourself as a nucleus, as a micro nucleus inside a macro nucleus. So you don't see it as a dual consciousness, you see it as a oneness stream. In that's like the Fibonacci code. You look at an image, you zoom up the image, and you see smaller dots, and the smaller dots are replicating the same image. So you're constantly seeing the same thing. At different intervals, at different levels, at different angles, you're seeing the same process, or the same thought, seeing the same feeling. It's all a matter of oneness. And so you're no longer separated, but you're getting yourself in tune and getting yourself aligned. And if you're not aligned, you have to realign. And if your foundation is not strong enough, you got to rebuild the foundation. Or you have to do a few things like shift so that you could move in the process of these things in grace with ease. So this is essential. So you will have the total embodiment of divinity, the materialization of your divine nature in action through you. You'll see yourself as the gateway and everything around you as a gateway. The 32 is the masterful gathering of our relationship with the divine, our relationship with self-knowledge, and our relationship with the ability to express through communication, be it verbal, be it written, or be it telepathic. Telepathy is something that is coming to the forefront now. And there are various exercises that you can do with a close friend, where you both can sit down. You don't have to be in the same location. You could be thousands, 3,000 miles away from the East Coast to the West Coast. You just pick a time at first in the beginning that coincides with the partner's time, where you will take maybe just one color or a particular symbol, and you will send a thought vibration telepathically to your partner. Now, during whatever time frame you two select, let's say, for instance, I'm here in Mountain Daylight Time here in Albuquerque, and I want to do this exercise with someone on the East Coast. So I would then say, knowing what my time is 2 hours earlier than their time, suggest the time that I'm going to spend, let's say 30 minutes or an hour, focusing, sending this image or a thought. It could be a word to them. And then I will use an acoustics technique, which I will audibly say it in a low tone, which also helps me to focalize the energy and then to send it, let go of it, see it around the person. That person on the other end, during that time of their time zone, will write down whatever they thought, whatever they got in their mind, in their head, whatever they felt, whatever they sensed. And then later in the evening or later on at another time, we sit down, we share notes. Then you can get to a point where, if you want to, rather than spend a whole hour sending the information off and on or all day, streamline it to 30 minutes until you master the 30 minutes between each other. Streamline it to 15 minutes, then the 10 minutes, then the 5 minutes, and then eventually you can send it, they get it right away. They send to you, you get it right away. Now, what's so unique about that exercise is that it's actually It's not really anything new. In essence, a mother and her child does that all the time. The mother knows. Why? Because the mother has the intuitive nature, which is also a very empathic nature. So therefore, she understands the path that she is on with the child. And therefore, they both can receive and send. Both can be intuitive, can intuit, get into it, and intuit the information back and forth to each other. Mother and a child do this all the time. So this is something that you can work at more and more and more. The more you do it with a partner, the faster and the easier it becomes. So 32 is the masterful gathering of our relationship with divine energy, and understanding our divine nature and getting in touch with it, but really, really understanding it. And this is an opportunity where we begin to build a firmer foundation for a right relationship with the divine nature that we call God or God force energy, the universal light, ourselves, and Mother Earth, or you refer to as Mother Gaia, and beyond. Now, this 2012, as a universal year 32, which is a 5, 5 is Mercury, the messenger. What messages are you giving out? That's what you want to pay attention to in April. You know, you ever heard the phrase that somebody's giving me mixed message? They say one thing, but they do another. They say one thing, but they act toward you in a different way. That's what we call a mixed message. It's like, what is the person thinking, but what are they saying? Is it one and the same? What are they doing? Is it one and the same? Because you can think and you can act on something, but they have to be the same, so there's no confusion. So you want to be aware this month of messages. What kind of messages are you giving? What kind of messages are you receiving? And what kind of messages are you able to interpret with understanding? Also, there's a freedom mechanism here, freedom of speech. So you have a right to say something, but you also have to pay attention to how it's being said, how other people are receiving it. Now, the problem is sometimes we can't. As much as you work at doing it, and much as you pay more attention to doing it, sometimes you just have to speak. And it's not that you have to have wishful thinking, but it's also important for everybody to also understand where you are in the growth process of the communication as well. Some of us will be ahead, some of us will be behind. Not everybody is going to be on the same page. But that's what we're working toward. We're working toward being on the same page. So sometimes it is good for, if you don't understand that you're doing something, it's good for someone who you might consider to be close to you to be able to say it back to you, because you're not going to hear it. It's just like a speaker giving a lecture. The speaker can think the thought and feel the thought, but then they got to say it. And often they don't have enough time to be on the receiving end as they're issuing the energy. Unless you do a meditation, an intentional meditation beforehand. Then you say, okay, well, this is how I want the energy to be received. But there is an essence of free will. Not everybody will want to receive what you're giving or what you're sending. So you have to be aware of all of these things. Then there's a freedom of movement here during the springtime. You want to be free to go wherever you want to go. But you also have to be aware of where you're going. What elements are you going? What circles, what pools of energy are you going into or through? So during this 5 universal year, 32-5 universal year, you want to be totally aware of yourself in the particular environment that you see yourself in. This is going to be very important. You're going to want to pay attention to what you are feeling all the time, what you're seeing or what you're sensing all the time. You have to also pay attention, again, Not everybody's going to see what you see with the eyes. They're not going to feel exactly what you're going to feel. Why? Because they have their own energy streams they have to walk through and work through. And as much as we might think we're all responsible for our thoughts, which we are, and we're responsible for our words, our actions, and our feelings, still at the same time, you may not get all of that in one shot like that. You still have to pull it all together. You still have to, you see, in other words, if you're going to focus on yourself, when we work on ourselves, it's highly, highly important that you do not beat up on yourself. So let's say you got some bills that have to be met, but you want to go entertain yourself. You don't want to spend with outside of the box of your means. You don't want to be wasteful with your finances, but you're entitled. You have self-worth and self-value. So sometimes when you do something, you can't choke yourself about it. You can't beat yourself up about it. It is all right to do, to explore, to have fun. You do not want to walk around in the sense of shame or guilt after you've done something or while you're in the midst of doing something. As an example, say you have a bill to pay. You're trying to weigh, I want to pay this bill, it's due today, but there's an event that came up I want to attend, or I don't have, what am I going to do? And what you have to realize is that we all want to work past, get through, understand that we don't have to have a limited thinking and limited consciousness. We don't have to feel that we are limited. We don't have to have those feelings of limitations, restrictions, constrictions, contractions. We don't want to block ourselves off. We don't want to have that feeling. So you must cultivate inside yourself the feeling of continuous flow. Money is energy. It's continuous flow. So in order to keep the flow going, you have to locate where clutter might be and occasionally keep corners organized. Keep center parts of rooms organized. Keep everything organized in a place where energy can flow freely. So when you keep it so energy can flow freely, then you'll see in your mind, you'll understand in your consciousness that money will always be flowing. It'll always be coming. Now what you do is you organize yourself around the rhythm of that flow. Organize yourself within the rhythm of the flow, and you feel it flow to you. So this is something that you do in your life. This is why it's good to practice physical exercises. It's good to walk. Why? Because you can feel energy. Jog, you can feel energy. Then try something where you're walking and you're jogging, and see how the energy flows. What balance, what things you have to do to tweak yourself, fine-tune yourself, so that when you walk and you start to jog, and then you slow down into a walk, you can do it without feeling overwhelmed, without having any breath left. When you do Tai Chi form, or Karate form, or Jiu-Jitsu forms, katas, or yogic posture, katas, I'm going to call it. When you're doing yogic postures with a fluid motion, you got to do the same. You're going to go to the ups and downs, the aches and the pains, and the stretches and the sprains. But as you work through the energies gradually and do things where you break down the posture so you understand how they're linked together, and that you create variations to the postures, then what happens, you're able to acclimate the energy better, acclimate the process as well, and then soon you can build yourself, become firmer and stronger. And then you can get back to the basic foundation and the basic principles of the exercise, and where your intention has to be and where your mindset should be. Then you can find that you flow better. This is why some people, they're going to get upset. There's a lot of different communities of thought processes out here. schools of thought that they don't understand yoga. They think yoga is overtaking. It's demonic. When the yogic energy isn't demonic at all, it has nothing to do with that. When studying numerology and astrology and palmistry and pendulum, it's not demonic. It's not at all. Tarot, not demonic. So there's this constant flow, this constant thing where people are trying to dissect these things that have been out there 6,000 years rolling already. 3,000 years of information going into 4,000 years of information about Qigong, Tai Chi, Bagua, Bagua, which is Pakwa, Xingyi, and all these other systems, internal martial arts systems, external karate systems, whether it's Goju-ryu, whether it's Ishin-ryu, Shinto-ryu, and so forth, Chito-ryu. There's a ton of them. When I say a ton of them, there's so many systems, it's mind-boggling. Sanukas-ryu, Kumite-ryu, Vijitsu-ryu. There's so many of them out there. You got to find the one that works for you. But they all teach you to be aware of your environment and be aware of energy all the time and become more sensitive to the energy and more sensitive to the environment and the surroundings. So everything is about movement. Everything is about getting you where you have to go. So you want to be aware that you're living gracefully, meaning with ease, with comfort. And these are the essentials throughout this year. For everyone will be challenging themselves and not each other. Everyone is going to be challenging themselves and not each other. That's what it's about. This is not a competitive thing. You're not having a race with somebody. What you're looking to do is you're looking to flow. You're looking to flow with the light and have greater understanding. This is what you're seeking. You're in search of what greater wisdom. Now 5 means, in essence, to adapt. 5 is the center of the hub of numbers 1 through 9. And if you look at it 1 through 10, 5 is right in the middle, it's the halfway point. So we're more here moving, what we're doing is we're moving into the heart energy and the throat energy chakra at the same time. The throat energy, see, the third dimensional is your solar plexus. Okay, third dimensional is your solar plexus along with your navel there. Your fourth dimensional range and realm is your heart center. Your fifth dimensional range is your throat chakra. This is where you make the word made manifest. You speak the word. But you got to embody it to live it. And that's as you get into the higher realms of consciousness. So, herein lies truth, where you are working toward intensely listening to what you are hearing and intensely observing what you are seeing, and then you respond accordingly. That means you're going to have acute awareness. You're going to develop acute listening skills and acute observation skills. And that's what the 5 is about. In order for you to adapt to something, you have to know yourself well enough and know your environment well enough and know that you're connected to the earth and connected to the divine source so you can adapt. That's why the earth is giving messages and the heavens are giving messages, meaning the consciousness is giving messages. So what is important to realize here is that Gemini and Virgo have to step forward. They get to step forward. Not only have to, but must step forward with greater faith in what they're doing. There's a lot of Geminis out there who make great salespeople, great marketers. Okay, but they have to step forward, step out on faith just like everybody else. Virgo is good at working. They have the work ethics. Virgo can be the mediators. They can be conflict resolutionists. right? They can bring more cohesiveness into relationships. Virgo can. But Virgo has a tendency to be very critical. So Gemini and Virgo need to adapt. Virgo likes to stay busy more than Gemini. They love work. They can see the beauty behind work and what work can do for you. But Virgo should take its turn and relax a little bit. Now, it is also important to understand that this 5 is adaptation. That's Mercury, which is the messenger, which is Gemini and Virgo. We'll look at some of the other signs that are good at adapting, such as Sagittarius and Pisces. Sagittarius and Pisces get to become more creative now, even more inventive. And this is at a time right now where they have a tendency to either pull back from the creative nature or to step lively into their creative nature. So for Sag and Pisces, you have to respect you have good, clear, creative energy. It is important to step into the creative energy in whatever ways that you can, whether it's showing your artwork more to people, whether it's getting out and playing an instrument, if that's what you do. If you're good at acting and theatrical works, be out there. If you're good at dance, be out there. If you're good at creative writing, write more. Whatever it is, so that you don't develop any creative blocks. In other words, you can have Sag and Pisces can go through creative stagnation if not careful, especially in this month of April. If you're born under a fixed sign, such as Taurus and Scorpio, you can overcome your selfishness, which is essential, and conquer secrets. You got these hidden secrets running around inside Taurus, and especially Scorpio. Scorpio is the master of the secret. And so you master the secrecy part of yourself through the principles of understanding. If you're Leo and Aquarius, you can become a part of a brotherhood or a sisterhood for greater advancement. That means you're going to excel, Leo and Aquarius, this year by linking up with humanitarian groups. This anything that you have going on that's inventive with yourself, maybe you got some new ideas that you're putting out to other people. If you link them up on a bigger strata, a bigger circle of people, you have an opportunity to carry the message all the way out, almost nationally and globally as well as locally. If you're a cardinal sign, what is it good that you need to do under this 5 vibration? Well, if you're a Cancer and Capricorn, this is where you become the motivational person. So you become very motivated and very creative and very communicative. That means you're communicating, creating, and being motivated through your gut feelings. This is a great time to be even clearer with yourself and others. And right at this time, Cancer and Capricorn personalities are doing just that. They're getting clearer and clearer and clearer. They're actually the ones who are receiving this information and working well. Another way to look at it would be Cancer represents motherhood and home values, and Capricorn are the values of the elders, the seniors. So those who are in the home, seniors in your home, generate a lot of information right now, have a lot of information to share with you. All right, this is a time to pay attention to the maturity level of children in the home as well, because more and more children, especially those born close to 2000 and in 2000 and right after 2000, these are the crystals. Yeah, you got the indigos out here, but the crystals are all the way forward. They got the message. They understand that. They're putting it out. The indigos had it and always had to struggle through it with all these other energies that were there around them, and even the elder indigos. Okay, but now the crystals are the ones who are coming on the planet, and they are the masters. They got it. They're just learning how to assimilate within the families the soul families that they have this soul contract with. Okay. Now, if you're Aries and Libra, which are cardinal signs, you can find your rightful place by being in harmony in relationships to yourself first and then to your loved ones. But it's important to create the balance. If you don't have the balance there, you don't really move through anything. So if you're under Aries and Libra, you really got to work on who you are through the power of relationship and who the relationship is through you. What kind of relationship do you have? Remember, the 5 is the message. So what kind of message are you giving in relationships? What kind of message are you giving to an individual self from one individual to the next? It'll be very important to relax and to recuperate, to cleanse, to fast, to sleep more, to gain rest. Use prayer and meditation. In fact, meditate a great deal more now than you've done before. This is going to be essential because you're going to have your spiritual centers, known as your chakras, upgraded. Okay? So they're going to become more clear. They're going to get cleared more. They're going to be opened more. They're going to be anchored more. They're going to be centered more. And you're going to have a clearer connection with the Spirit. When I say the Spirit, the Holy Spirit within you, the divine truth within you, the divine Father, the divine Mother energy is the oneness of you. That's going to get clearer. So you're going to dwell here in that space. You're going to live in that consciousness. And then you're going to be able to shine more. Now, here are the 12 grace gems. As I said, this program can go 45 minutes, and I'm glad it's going past an hour. So, here are the 12 grace gems, meaning the 12 grace gems are the solar signs that we work with. For Aries, avoid harsh criticism of others. That's very important, Aries. Aries, you're not going to like everything you hear or see. You're interacting with family members, with business associates. Okay, you're not going to see everything eye to eye. So obviously here it means avoid any harsh criticism that you may feel like lodging against others. Be careful with your words, and they will, if you're not careful with how you say something, because your word is like the truth is like a double-edged sword. So what you want to criticize someone about, you might find those words haunting you later, meaning following you around later. Those of you coming under the sign of Taurus, this is a generalization. This is not to be looked at specifically, but you can still use this information. Taurus, take your family and yourself seriously first. Take your family and yourself seriously first. Consider what you're doing inside your family unit, and family comes first, and you come first within the family, be it mother, father, sister, brother. This is going to be important to know what's going on underneath your own roof here during the springtime. And you want to overcome habits that no longer work. Habits that no longer work. The old habitual thinking, you've got to release it, melt it away, dissolve it. You must become more disciplined. Find ways to become more selective and sensitive to your own needs and to the needs of your family. This is important for Taurus right now. That means any responsibilities you have in taking care of your children, your mate, or your elders, you have to find ways to become a little bit more selective and more sensitive to what you're getting there. Now, here's additional information for Gemini. Rest when necessary. Study and enhance your skills. Market yourself. Be truthful, though, in the presentation and the communication. Now, this is good for anybody, not just Gemini, but this is good, that statement is good about getting clear. Be truthful in the presentation and your communication, especially if you're someone who's working for a company. And this is why you have more people leaving some of the corporate structure activity and stepping into those organizations and associations and businesses that are staying true to oneself, true to the planet. People talking about sustainability. Okay, so this is good because it's important to have a truthful presentation. You have to present the facts, but you got to be truthful. You got to be either connected. you cannot go through a process where you're not connected to what you're presenting, whether it's to a small group or to a board, a community board of people. So you've got to work everything out. You got to make sure that you're vibrating in unison with the truth, so that when you present the message to people and you communicate it, you feel good about the communication, and the people feel good because they feel the honesty that is there, the truth that's flowing through you. Cancer, those of you born under the sign of Cancer, create balance between your emotions and your thoughts. Become more astute and in tune to your true desires, your truth of yourself, the spirit in you. Don't take another's issues personally. Don't take on somebody else's issues. You might have some people out there that need your help, and this is important. You might have a family member or a close friend, but if that person is constantly calling you and you're constantly figuring it out for them, well, sometimes that's okay, but other times you have to help them to figure it out. You have to help them gain the strength. So therefore, you might want to see yourself to a friend who's always in need of your help. You might want to see yourself like a motivational speaker kind of personality, or a life coach kind of personality, so that you're giving them clear steps, but you're reminding them to develop clear steps for themselves so that they can see for themselves, so they can have good discernment. Leo, don't try to figure everybody out. And Leo, do not think that you have everybody figured out, because you don't. Why? Because everything is changing and everybody is changing. So be more sensitive to yourself first, then to others. In other words, get clear with yourself. Then you can get clear with understanding other people that you're trying to connect with, or that you desire to connect with, or that you feel that you are connected to. Use this month to work more on yourself, Leo. New friends are important. All the new friends you met up to now, and all the new friends you're getting ready to meet in this moment and the moments to come into your life that are going to be brand new, understand that they already respect you. See, Leo, you might be questioning, do people respect what I'm saying? Do they respect me? Well, if you respect yourself, then they already respect you, because it's in how you carry yourself. If you're carrying yourself in a loving manner, you will be loved accordingly, because they see that you love you. It will be good for everybody to also love you as you are. In other words, how you present yourself. It's all in the presentation. And this is also important for being in the moment. You want to remember that everybody respects you. They have the respect for you. They have the unconditional love. This is for Leo. For Virgo, additional information. You love to work all the time, but you love to have a good time too. You enjoy leadership positions. Okay, so this month, be the leader, be the coach, and be the team player. So if you're a manager, within a company, or a supervisor, or a manager, or whoever, you have to be the good team leader, right? People expect you to do the leading. They expect you to do the coaching, the consulting, and advising. At the same time, be the team player. That means you're not going to give a task to somebody that you have never done before. This is something you have to remember. Avoid being overly critical of others. Sometimes Virgo likes to criticize everybody. That's something you don't want to do. Not for April. You might do it a little bit in May, but be careful. Do not do any criticizing. Don't go overboard. Be truthful, but remember, not everyone sees what you see. In other words, not everyone understands the same thing that you understand. You have to make sure everybody's on the same page. This is essential. If you're a Libra, be kinder in all relationships. Work on your own issues. Libra can't tell everybody else to be in balance if they're not in balance. You can't tell everybody else they got to be just and principle oriented if you're not being just and principle oriented. You can't tell Libra everybody else they got to be truthful if you're not being truthful to yourself. That's important. Correct your behavior. This is a time where you can correct any behavior issues that you have. Sometimes you're not really paying attention to what is being said or presented to you. So you want to give 100% attention, Libra. During this month, you want to give more unconditional love. You want to learn how to give it. If you don't know how to give it, find someone who's doing it and give more unconditional love and be the recipient of it as well. Do not attempt, Libra, to be domineering or controlling in a relationship. This will backfire in very harsh ways. In other words, people will remember when you had your difficulties and will continuously bring up the past. So, you can't be dominating in the relationship, and you can't be bossy. You got to be there has to be a sharing that's going on. Now, Scorpio. By now, you've realized it's quite a chore to be consistent. Be consistent in what? In working on yourself. It's equally exciting to realize how fun it can really be. How fun it can be working on yourself. Whether you're working on yourself from professional, personal, family, or friend. And if you're working on a professional relationship, a personal relationship, a familial relationship, or a friend-like relationship, you must share the spiritual light and you must share the spotlight. Don't be argumentative during April. April's a fiery time for you. Do not argue with people. Listen clearly. Use this month to become more aware of yourself, more aware of the people in your life, and how energy gets exchanged. Pay attention to that. Now, Sagittarius, this is a great time for you. You've got this uniquely open and creative energy happening around you. And it's very dynamic right now with children, family, and humanity at large. That dynamic means it's out there, it's potent, you can feel it. It's crystal clear. It's exciting. Find more ways to connect all three of these. The openness, the creative energy that's happening now with children. Find a way. Respect your own creative skills along the way. You've got creative skills. Maybe you might have to go back and bring out some of the skills that you haven't used in a long time, Sagittarius. This might be a good time to do that. So let's say if you played an instrument, start to study the instrument again. Now, maybe you might want to create a band, or you might want to do a performance or a recital, or maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe the reason for bringing the instrument back, or doing interpretive dance, or allowing yourself to get back into yoga or martial arts or something, so that you could find these other zones, energetic patterns in yourself, and then you're able to utilize that. You're able to draw on it. In other words, it's finding the reservoirs of energy. Locate the reservoirs of creative energy that are around you and tap into them. Now, I'm getting a lot of white light blasting up in my eyes, so when I see that, we're on to something here, you and I. Spirit is saying to broaden that to everybody. Tap, find, discover, rediscover, and tap into creative reservoirs, pools of energy that's happening. You'll be able to tap into it energetically. That means if you're not physically in the presence where the reservoir of energy is flowing, through the power of awareness, sensitivity, and remembrance, you can tap in to the energy and still draw on it. and place it in motion in your life. This is essential. You'll be able to do this. Now, get essential rest when necessary. Either you sleep longer on the weekends or you take some innovative, creative short naps. Find a moment to close your eyes for 10 to 15 minutes to rest so that when you open your eyes, you have clear energy running through you. Capricorn for April. This is, in fact, Capricorn for the entire year. Even though you're ruled by Saturn, this is a Mercury vibration for this year, you still are able to capitalize perhaps on it more so than anybody else. This is Capricorn. It says you're doing quite well with yourself. Now's the time to speak at large to the public. In other words, Capricorn, if you haven't been out there speaking, you may already be doing it in smaller groups, and this helps you to speak to larger groups. You're speaking to the groups that you know. You're speaking to the family group, family, friends, co-workers, colleagues, other associates, people that you meet. You're constantly sharing this information that you have. So now it says the spirit of the higher self here, the divine self, is saying it's getting you ready to be the educator at whatever you have been doing all these years leading up to right now. So you're being placed in the position to educate, to coach. Maybe you're going to be a life coach. Maybe you'll become a motivational speaker. Most of you Capricorns can be both, all three. You can be the educator, the life coach, and the motivational speaker. And if you become this motivational speaker, you have the energetic skills and the heart as you're speaking from what? A foundation, a firm foundation of truth that lives in you already. In other words, you're speaking from your own life experiences, and for most of you, this is your time now. This is your moment where you can get all this energy out there. So what this tells me to remember to say to you, and any of Capricorns that tune into this, watch this periodically, and for everybody, is that you're going to be touching many lives on many levels. And just like I told Taurus and Libra and Aries, you're not going to always have everybody on the same page. But the most important thing is give the gems, the spiritual gems and the spiritual truths you want to give. And then take a step back and continue to plant your seeds in other places. By doing this, the people who you first talked to, who may not have gotten it or may not have worked at it, they will see their surroundings begin to change, because the circles of people are always expanding, but they're getting smaller too, because there's more and more people popping up with awareness, more and more people seeking this information that you have. So know this. You ever heard of that phrase? Is that every sixth person on the planet is related? The one person who you were seeding that information to has 6 or 7 or 8, maybe 10 other people around them, and it so happens that you may know some of those people as well. So you may either they're telling you or you're releasing it anyway. You may be coming across some of the people that they already are associated with. So it's sort of like the fisher person, the fisherman, the fisherwoman takes the net, doesn't try to catch one fish, catches all the fish in the net and outside the net. Why? We said that 32 is the number of mastering a gathering. Mastering a gathering. A gathering of what? Of similar hearts, similar minds, which then goes into same heart and same mind, goes into oneness. The many become one. And the other side of that is the one becomes many. So you're connecting with everybody. And this is a moment of reaching great heights for Capricorn. Now Aquarius, you can be a pioneer, trailblazer, a leader, or a follower. But you have to decide if you want to be the pioneer, the leader, or the follower. Now, how would you decide all three? Well, first of all three teach and all three share. Pioneer, which is a trailblazer, is setting an example. Means the pioneer or trailblazer is what? They're not waiting for someone to accept their ideas, accept their concepts, accept their inventions. They're going out and creating, going out and doing, as if it's already happening now. So Aquarians, you have to do what's in your heart, but you can't sit back and overanalyze and think it. You just got to put it in motion. You have to keep doing it in order to see it. You have to keep doing it. In order to see other people latch on to it, you have to keep doing it. If you're the leader, you have to lead the troops, lead your team, lead yourself. If you're a follower, then you will follow a good leader. One who has the clarity, one who has the heart, one who has principles. So all three of these, the pioneer is a trailblazer, is a leader and a follower. Why? If you're a trailblazer and a pioneer and a leader, you're already following something that brought you to that area of consciousness. So you have to be more inventive. Speak your heart, speak your truths. Others will listen, but you must live the truth that you're speaking. Convince yourself, and others will surely be convinced of your truth. Do this from a state of unconditional love. It means live from the fourth dimension, from the heart. Pisces, the world awaits your new ideas. The world awaits the enthusiasm. What we learned recently, the last couple of weeks in our broadcast, enthusiasm comes from the Greek word enthos, which means divine impartation. Something has been imparted in you, Pisces. The divine has left its mark and has stamped its approval from time immortal. Meaning, way back before you thought you were born. The divine consciousness has stamped the chemistry or the alchemist vibration in you. So the world is awaiting any ideas that you have, especially your new ideas. And if those ideas deal with art, writing, science, teaching, advising, motivating also, coaching, healing, ministerial work, and administerial work. If you're the artist, it's awaiting the new idea that you have. So you have to find a way to get the idea out. You might get it out in the public or get it out one-on-one, but get it out. Now, this is good, and it gets better. Now, this is good, and it gets better. This is good, and it gets better. That's like an affirmation. I am good, and I am getting better. It's a decree. I decree I am good. I decree I am getting better. I am better. We learned not too long ago, as far back as a couple of years ago, I am is an active principle of the God nature on Earth and anywhere else in the galaxies. So therefore, when we say I am, and then you repeat it mentally and audibly back to yourself and feel that pendulum energy swing back in, it's important to say what you are feeling about the I am. So it's getting better, Pisces. And it gets better. Stay visible. This is important. Be visible. Be where people can see you as well as feel you. And continue to work on your own layers of wellness. Work on your layers, the various realms of consciousness. And the reality is to use your meditation skills. Make your meditations go deeper and farther than you've ever been before. And take yourself beyond great vistas and realize that you are creating greater wellness, not only for yourself, but greater wellness and wholeness for others. You have a natural healing ability, and what's essential is Pisces represents everybody else. Pisces is also Aries, Gemini, Taurus, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, and Aquarius. Pisces is the chemistry of all of that and the alchemical processes of all of that, the foundation of all of that. So, Pisces, it's up to you to lead yourself. It's up to you to heal yourself. It's up to you to create wholeness for yourself. But remember, you can't do it all by yourself. You need a little help. You always need help. Everybody always helps. And we help each other. So we have to remain open. I know that because I'm Pisces. It's like a message to myself. Remain open, Bishop Francis Revels-Bey. You too are Pisces. I'm here to share as much information as possible. Now, and I'm glad that we're going into a long program. We haven't done this in a long time. But here's the Grace Key of Remembrance, and I want to make it as potent and as brief as possible. For April 2012, the Grace Key of Remembrance for April 2012 is to spring forth to a newer you by transforming yourself. Trans means to change form, transcend, get past the old for the new. Get past the outer, step into the nucleic part of yourself, the nucleus. Now, many of us are continuously seeking and acquiring. Many of us are continuously seeking and acquiring newer skills all the time. That means there's a means and a ways for greater expression and cultivating this inner desire to transform. This is a renewal, which is also a regeneration that's stemming from what we have to continue to learn about ourselves. So you're consciously and constantly learning about yourself all the time. This is something you have to do all the time. You have to learn who you are and how you can become better at that. And people always come across a couple of masters and healers, master healers and teachers. It's the ego. It's the ego. Well, we all got ego. It's not always just about pushing your personal ego aside. It's understanding that part of yourself and then learning how to work that self to a higher height of awareness and remembrance. See, there's sometimes you're going to have this fear of losing yourself within a group. And you don't really lose yourself within the group. You don't lose yourself. You can't lose your divine nature inside a bigger collective energy of divine nature. You don't get lost. It's a oneness vibration. Your individuality is still intact. What does the word individual mean? Cannot be separated from yourself. You cannot separate the divine from you. The divine nature is always in action. The divine nature is constantly being activated all the time. It's living. It's dwelling in you holistically through everything in your life. So it can never be separated. Can't be pulled apart. Can't be cut off. Doesn't work that way. And it can't work that way. And it won't work that way. Your divine nature is always present. We already are aware of this new information that's coming to us, that's being unearthed, coming out of the heart, out of the cellular memories, deep from within ourselves. Mother Earth, yes, is always releasing. Always releasing. Always creating and building up a new way to sustain herself. So are we. That's what everybody's talking about. Sustainability. How can we sustain and maintain so we can be here? A sustenance. How can we take this sustenance and sustain it in ourselves to keep ourselves what? Maintained and going. Well, it happens through moving forward through a state of evolution, evolving. Constantly you got to learn something in order to evolve. We are releasing and we're coming to a point where we are understanding that there are ways in which we clothe ourselves spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Hopefully, we are letting go of the useless, outdated material. That we're changing the way we eat, exercise, the way we are being introduced to new things about ourselves, introducing new and proper elements that will what? So that we can remain to get clear on a healthy level. So we're trying to create balance all the time. We're trying to create a balance with ourselves all the time. This is essential to our well-being, to our wholeness. Now, people have been fasting for years, cleansing for years, detoxing for years, eating better, exercising better, eating the right foods, digesting, eliminating better, again, exercising. But this does not just pertain to the food. It pertains to how we're living our lives. Everything is becoming a choice. So in order to feel regenerated, renewed, and transformed on all levels, we have to make changes, make better selections, and be willing to do something different in order to feel different, in order to be different, in order to see the new year. And as I specified earlier, many times the teacher is taught and the student teaches. Many times the true energy work between the teacher and the student evolves and clarifies together their consciousness and subconscious natures, and more in a most remote and subtle way. That means we're remote when they're not even connected, when they're not even around each other, they're learning. While they have time to think, time to contemplate, time to meditate. And know that meditation and contemplation are different. In the sense of the words that people use, the word contemplation is really thinking. But in a higher symbolic way, contemplate is the temple plates, right and the left hemispheres of your brain come together for oneness, for balance, for harmony. So, what you want to do, this is the springtime. Yes, this is the springtime. This is the time for growth in youthful living and expression with dynamic movement of your chi, cultivation of the body and the mind with and through the soul and spiritual nature. If you do yoga, get in touch with that yoga. If you're doing Pilates, use it. If you're using yoga, use it. All forms of yoga, all forms of Tai Chi, pranic exercises. Doesn't matter what you're using, but you got to get deeper into that energy. And you should balance that energy with other types of energetic forms so that the whole part of you is being worked. And if you are one who wants to have complete liberation of divinity in you, releasing of the divinity in you, then you must remember to remain open to receive and give freely. This is why meditation is so important. Meditation is so important that you got to go deeper and longer in your meditation so that you realize, if you are a person who is praying all the time or meditating, you will realize that it's in the moment that the opening exists. The door is already open. The heart, the chakras are open. They're spinning all the time. They will spin so fast that they look like they're not spinning at all. Have you ever seen a hubcap on a wheel, or the spokes of a bike when they're in motion? Have you ever see it? It's going what? Right to left to you, clockwise. It's going so fast it looks like it's going the other direction. Well, it's doing two things at the same time. If you were underneath that car or on the other side of that bike, looking at the spokes, if you're on the right side, it appears to be moving, and it is moving what? Clockwise. But if you're on the other side, it's moving counterclockwise. It's doing both. It's spiraling at the hub, at the center. It's spiral down and spiral up again. And the spiral represents on its side, when you look at both of the lines spiraling, is infinity. So, in order to assist others, you have to assist yourself first. Discipline is essential to self-study. This is the key in this month for this Grace Key of Remembrance. So we want to step in and give you the Creative Pathwork Meditation for this month. And what is that? Because you got to pace yourself now. The message is you got to work on yourself. This is the message for the month. Continuously work like you've been throughout the year, working on yourself all the time and enjoying yourself, enjoying your life too. You don't want to do anything in desperation. Do not do any of these exercises in desperation. Don't starve yourself when you don't have to. Now, this is what an exercise that you can do, and it's a short meditation. This is an original Creative Pathwork meditation of mine. I started the Creative Pathwork Meditation series back in 1996, so we got thousands upon thousands of meditations. I would think of all the weeks I spent giving meditations at a store in New Jersey I used to work at for 10 years. Every Friday night there was a Creative Pathwork meditation, group meditation. And you figure there was only 6 Fridays I wasn't there. So you're talking about 52 weeks out of 10 years, 520 Fridays, and 6 of them I wasn't there. So that gives you 514 meditations. That's not counting the meditations people were getting individually as a one-on-one routine with me in consultation from Long Island to New Jersey and New York City, as well as over the phone. So let's say for 10 years it's 514 meditations, and then maybe 300 to 400 to 500 people a year outside of that getting that information. So these meditations, there's tons of them out there. And you're getting to see some and experiencing some live right now. So we're approximately 90 minutes into this program, 94, 95 minutes program. But I want to give you this original Creative Pathwork Meditation for April 2012 for this live pre-recorded broadcast number 184. And it's entitled, I Am the Spiritual Transformer and Renewer of Light. That's a long title, but that's it. I am the spiritual transformer and renewer of light. So take a moment right now, sit back. Maybe you're standing in front of your computer watching this, your laptop. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale through the nose and release the breath through the mouth, exhaling about 4 times, starting right now. And as you do that, I want you to straighten out your spine. I want you to sit so that you feel comfortable. I don't want you to fall asleep. I want you to be wide awake. And as you flow through those 4 moments, your rhythm of your breathing, the cadence of your breathing, should be 4 beats, or 4. Each beat is a second. Each second is 1, 2, 3, 4. It may go a little faster, but I would say a little slower than that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what 4 seconds is. Each beat being a second. That's the cadence. Inhale on 4, exhale on 4. When you reach the 4 sections of that, then do all the breathing through the nose without pausing in between. Place your tongue, the tip of your tongue, to the roof of your mouth behind your 2 front teeth. You have a governing channel that goes from the root chakra at the base of your spine up over the center of your back. And it's connecting right underneath, almost in the brow center, coming down and connecting here. But what you want to do is you want to actually catch it as it comes, and realize it's coming up over the crown of the head, right through the center of the crown to the center of the top of your head, and sitting here at the brow center. That's a lot of energy. It's also taking into consideration the base of your skull, the right and the left hemispheres of your brain, the right temple and the left temple at the same time. And it's connecting all the way through, that's called the governing channel, and then coming down the conceptual channel, what we call the conception channel, coming down over the sternum, through the heart center, and the throat and the brow, coming all the way down through the solar plexus and the navel into, and like in martial arts, settling into the hotter point, the Japanese call it, or the lower Dantian, Dien, D-I, or T-I-E-N, Dan, D-A-N, like a rank, the cauldron, ranking there, hooking there at the sacral point, second chakra, sitting right there. And other cultures and civilizations and martial arts schools call it something slightly different but similar. Okay, storing energy in the sacral, in your legs, in the meridians, energy being stored. Now, as you do this, you can close your eyes gently or you can leave them open. I'm kind of checking my notes so I give you the proper order. Now, what I want you to do is be aware of both channels, up the back and over the front. And I want you to relax into your breathing and go as deep as you can so that you can be thoroughly relaxed. Now, I want you to place your awareness right in front of your sternum, halfway point. This is the heart chakra, heart center. I want you to feel the presence and envision a golden white light, and I want you to shield it out in every possible direction, 360 degrees all the way around, and all the diagonals and the vertical energy and the horizontal fields of energy. Every quadrant of your body is covered. Every angle of your body is covered in this light, golden white light. And remember, whether you're seated or standing, that you are in the center of this light. Now, you might feel like you're in a triangular formation or a star tetrahedron formation, or a six-pointed star David formation, or a five-pointed star pentacle formation. But you're in a globe of light. It might feel like an oval, elliptical vibration. Whatever comes to you, flow with it. My suggestion is know that it's circular, globular, spherical. Now, you're using your breath together along with your mental image, mental intention, to see a golden cord flowing out of the heart all the way through the body, as if you were looking down upon yourself, seeing it flow up the pillar and column of light that's in you, all the way up past the moon and our sun, out of the earth's atmosphere, all the way into what is called the great central sun, which the entire galactic family is really rotating around, revolving around. And I want you to see that energy, and see that as a light. And also, I want you to establish this light, that golden cord is connecting the top of your head, the crown of your head, your right and left hemispheres, meaning your right and left temple, the base of the skull, the brow center, the throat center, the heart center. These are all your upper chakras, connected to that golden cord of light stemming from the great central sun, uplifting your spirit and rooting you, not pulling away, but rooting you from the solar plexus and a part of the heart center at the same time, down through the navel, down into the sacral chakra and the root chakra, flowing through the soles of your feet at the kidney points, soles of your feet, into the center of Mother Earth. Take a deep breath. Be aware of the channels of light. And I want you to look at that golden cord, golden white light, being like a silvery white light connecting deeply into the earth. Your navel energy is there as well, like your umbilical cord, but it's wide. Wide, is running through your entire body, even through the center of the palms of each hand. And I want you to take your time and do this. Think of that root foundation, storing that energy in your sacral chakra. The umbilical cord attached to your navel. It's expanding and it's capturing the root and the second chakra. But specifically now, the second chakra, the navel. Listen to this. Spirit wants you to feel this. Your second chakra and the navel together as one with your heart and your brow center. See them come together as one. See the brow, the heart, the navel, along with the root second chakra. Specifically the second, the navel, the heart, and the brow center, all being one and the same. In other words, the brow center is your ability to be clairvoyant. Now you're being clairsentient through your heart and solar plexus and navel and sacral chakra, feeling it, everything. Everything here, feeling it all. Not disconnected from anything, feeling it all. Now take that energy field inside the bigger global light form that you have as a shield, golden white light shield. In that, take that and shield that out to 360 degrees. Shield it out. I can tell you specifically how to shield it, but I want you to shield. I want you to use your energy concept. Shield out in all 6 directions, 360 degrees all the way around you. Now it's important as you do that, the 2 shields, the outer shield and the inner shield. And while I'm at this, I want to relay this message out because it's important for you to understand that this is a part of a new macabre being formulated. And I had received it from Ascended Master Revels-Bey, and gave me this telepathic communication for 18 years. The circle, inner circle, you're in the middle of the circle, and out in front of you from the heart in all 6 directions are these pyramidal shapes, and there's an antenna that goes out through the point. So it's like you're actually in a cube, a 6-sided form, which is the embodiment of the earth and the heavens together, a 6-sided form for the soul. And the pyramidal shapes are pointing inward toward you. So right at the vortex points, you're right in the middle of them. And there's enough room for you. If you were there, you could reach out with your right palm and your left palm and touch the 6 points. So there's one above you and one beneath you as well. You're seated right in the middle, or if you want, standing in the middle. And then as you throw out this first shield from your heart, the spherical light is encased and touching 6 sides. And the pyramid shapes then what? Pop out. And you're looking at a 6-sided cube with 6 pyramids connected to the base, to the walls, and an antenna, etheric antenna running through, connected to you at your heart center. This is the new millennium for the age of remembrance. This is the new Merkaba for the age. This is, I must say, this is one of many. This is the one that I received over an 18-year process from Serapis Bey, giving me an exercise every day until I finally got it. Gave me the exercise from 1981, actually from 1980. Gave me this exercise and it finally kicked in. It kicked in 1988, 8 years later, and then it thoroughly kicked in 2 more years, which gave it 10 years. And then it took another 8 years, and I finally figured it out. And what did he give me? He gave me a circle, a triangle, and a square. And I looked at it 2-dimensionally, but then I figured, why am I doing that? Why don't I just turn this square, which is one face of a cube, and the triangle is one face of a 4-sided pyramid, or a 3-sided. First I thought it was a 3-sided pyramid. It was a 4-sided pyramid, which means the cube was no longer a square. The square became a cube, the triangle became a pyramid, the circle became a globe. So I'm releasing that to you, sharing that with you. So that second globular light that we're talking about does what? It goes through the original one, presses out the pyramids to the outside, and then encases the vortex points of the pyramid. And this is what you need to know. Each pyramid is spinning around the vertical axis that's running through it. Each pyramid is spinning. It's turning. Each sphere is turning. What I want you to be aware of is the outer sphere has the appearance of moving counterclockwise and the inner sphere has the appearance of moving clockwise. And when these two are mixing like this, and the pyramids are going in various directions, they might move clockwise, they may at some point move counterclockwise, and then the cube is stabilized. You're actually standing in this cube, six-sided figure. You're seated or standing in it or moving around in it, and everything else is in motion. It's the same when you look up into the skies and clouds appear to just be sitting in the sky. Everything is moving so quick. Everything is in motion. So, you as the I am, as the great I am, becomes what? What did we say that the great I am was? The great I am is you. I am the spiritual transformer, changing form and renewing light. I am the spiritual transformer and the renewer of light, meaning of the consciousness. And I said earlier that sometimes it happens remotely and in subtle ways. So, realize now, this energy is sending you rivers of light, streams of light, columns of light, pillars of light, ribbons of light, oceans of light, galaxies of light. It's sending you all of this light from the outside and the inside. What you're actually looking at is like you're sitting inside your cells, looking around and looking out. So I want you to breathe in this light, golden white light, over you and through you, together as your oneness. Breathe it in, bathe in it. Know that you're being showered in this beautiful light as yourself, as you, the great I am, spiritual transformer and renewer of light. Say to yourself, I am that. Pause. I am. What are you saying when you say that? For this particular Creative Pathwork Meditation, you're saying, I am that. And what is that? The great I am. That is the spiritual transformer and renewer of light. I am. I am that I am. I am that same I am. The spiritual transformer. I am a spiritual transformer. I am a renewer of light. I want to thank you for sticking with me here. We're almost going 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes shy of a 2-hour program. And this is the blessing. I was looking for this, and we're going to upload this so you can see it. This is a special treat. Thank you for watching. This is our pre-recorded version of live webcast number 184 for Sunday, April the 1st, 2012 for the spiritual and metaphysical ministry called the Circle of Grace Room. And I want you to know I'm glad I did this today and took this length of time to put this out. Again, if you want to find out about the pre-paid subscriptions for Two Bears, which is you can get a 6-month subscription for $25 or a 1-year subscription for $45. That means you save $5 there. And it comes out usually on the 1st. In fact, there's one due today. And I'm going to work on it today so that it's out there. And we have I'm glad we have our subscribers are quite patient, because you'll get it in your inbox today, and it's going to have some of the highlights of today's program, especially that meditation. And what I want you to realize is this is a golden opportunity to get these issues while they're being published, produced, and written by myself right now. The other important e-newsletter prepaid subscription comes out 3 times a year, and one issue is already made available to you. And it is called the Circle of Grace 1 the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance. And there's only 3 issues, so each issue represents 4 months, and the first one already went out already. It went out on March the 1st. It's already available. You can get it. You can pay for an individual issue at $11 each for each issue if you just want one, or you pay for all 3 in advance for $33. Find out how you can get some additional information for that $33. You'll be able to get a chance to participate when I do them. Teleseminars that are normally go for $45 for a 90-minute program. You're going to get it for $25 if you pay all 3 issues in advance for $33. And you get a chance to have a conference with me where you can get mentored. That means mentored spiritually. You also have an opportunity where you can also not only get an audio mentoring going on, but we can also do a one-on-one video performance there for ourselves. And there's so many other things. It's going to be a special CD that I'm going to give you for free as well. So I want you to get ready. And then I'm also working on a special video CDs. You can put those together as well as a DVD. But I want to put together a special video on a CD that you can play in your computer and receive a special teaching. So I want to thank you for joining me. You can pay for these subscriptions for the prepaid for 2 Bears and Circle Grace 1. You can pay for them at my website. Go to http://circle of grace with the number 1 at the end.net and click on Home Services page and scroll right down on the left hand side, and you can pay for either one or both if you'd like with PayPal. And PayPal is very easy to use. Just follow the steps there and it'll take you to the page. Click on the buttons and you'll be able to make your payment. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming and watching this today's program. I gave out early in the program that I'm doing a 10-week tarot course here in Albuquerque, New Mexico at 3420 Lomas Boulevard, just west of Carlisle. And Lomas Boulevard is north of Central Avenue, runs parallel to Central Avenue. So you can, if you're traveling on I-40, if you're not in Albuquerque, or if you are in Albuquerque and you come across I-40, you'll get off at Carlisle. So if you're traveling east, you're going to make a right turn onto Carlisle. And if you're traveling west on I-40, get off at Carlisle. You're going to get off the ramp so you can head south onto it. Okay, so you get off the ramp and then you can head south, which means still making that right turn. So what I want you to do is give my good friend Jennifer a call at Whitehorse, because that will be the location. This 10-week course begins this Saturday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, April the 7th. It's going to run for 10 weeks. It's going to be $20 per class. So you want to sign up register for the class. And you can also come right in. But I like to always know how many people are starting off so we have enough lesson plans to go along. Each class is $20. Each class is 2 hours long from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. You want to give Jennifer a call at 505-255-5217. Or you can email me at ian.circlegrace1@yahoo.com. I'll give you all the information that you need, but you should call her directly, and this way you can get the proper directions and about the parking and how accessible and landmarks. And I just would like to share this 10-week course while we're doing it. These weeks are going fast. As you can see, not too long ago was New Year's Day, and now we're already in the spring. I'm also going to do some teleseminars coming up in the future. I like to do them on the first Tuesday. I don't have one set up right now, so it won't, on Tuesday, April the 3rd, I won't be doing a teleseminar, but I'm looking forward to getting one off the ground I believe it will be May the 1st. I'm going to shoot for Tuesday, May the 1st, for a teleseminar. Teleseminar costs $45. Okay, but if you signed up for the Circle Grace 1's e-newsletter and you paid for all 3 issues in advance for $33, you can get $20 off for that teleseminar. All right, so I'm going to post that teleseminar real soon as to what it will be. And stay tuned. Until next time, remember that the Circle Grace 1 was founded July 2nd, 1999 AD, under the aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through divine providence. It gave birth to its very own spiritual and metaphysical institute on February 7th, 2009, called the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance. And of course, I'm the host, Chief Principal Teacher, and founder of both, Bishop Francis Revels-Bey. Well, until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. And I'm going to be also putting up a broadcast for live webcast number 185 for Decreeing It Shall Be during this week of April. Thanks so much. God bless you, and take good care of yourself. See you next time.